In this video, we will explore the metabolic pathways of nutrition. We will discuss how energy is obtained from food and captured in ATP to fuel all the functions of the body. Energy is one of those words that's hard to define. For most, energy is more of a feeling. I feel energetic or I feel lethargic, lacking energy. But we all know that energy is what allows our bodies to function. We learned in the early part of this course that we receive energy to fuel our bodies from the carbohydrates, fats, and proteins in food. I think that is all fairly easy to understand. But then one wonders, how does our body actually get the energy out of food to fuel the functions in our bodies? This series of videos will go through the very processes that take energy from food to fuel your body. Let's start by discussing what fuels our cells. Most likely in your biology classes throughout high school and college, you learn that ATP is what provides energy to cells. This is true. ATP carries the energy to provide fuel to our cells for all the various functions. But wait a minute, didn't we just say that our cells are fueled by food? Where does this ATP come into the picture? ATP actually starts as ADP. We get energy from food, specifically carbohydrates, fats, and protein, which is captured in high-energy phosphate bonds to form ATP. It reminds me a lot of a battery. Have you ever tried to use a flashlight running on a low battery? The light doesn't shine brightly, and you cannot do much with it. But if you put in a new battery, suddenly you can see clearly with a strong, bright light. That low battery is like ADP. It needs more energy to function properly. So when we add energy, like we added a fully charged battery in the flashlight, it becomes ATP. Now it is able to provide energy to the rest of the cells. And when ATP gives up energy for a function, it becomes ADP again. So how does food fit into this picture? In the first part of the semester, we discussed how the food we eat is digested through the GI tract into the smallest components, monosaccharides like glucose, fatty acids, and amino acids. Then, in the small intestine, the nutrients are absorbed into the transport systems and taken through the blood to our cells. So here we are in the cell. It is here that a series of chemical processes occur to get energy from the nutrients. Inside different areas of the cell, these metabolic processes chemically break apart the carbohydrates, fats, and amino acids. As these compounds are broken apart, high-energy electrons are released. Now, we cannot have electrically charged particles roaming free. That could wreak all kinds of havoc on our cells. So to contain these electrons, coenzymes grab onto the electrons and transport them. This process of breaking down chemicals and releasing electrons occurs throughout the processes shown here. At each point an electron is released, the coenzyme carries the electrons to the electron transport chain at the very end of the metabolic process. It is in the electron transport chain where the energy from these electrons are captured into phosphate bonds in ATP. So that's the overview of how we go from food with carbohydrates, protein, and fat to ATP that fuels our cells. In the next videos, we will break down each of the parts of the metabolic cycles and dive into more details.